Have you ever gone from I'm fine to I cannot handle one more thing in about 4.7 seconds? 1 minute you are answering emails, making dinner, driving, talking to someone, trying to be a calm, evolved human being. And the next minute, your jaw is clenched, your shoulders are touching your ears, your thoughts are spiraling, and suddenly the tiny inconvenience feels like a full blown emergency. That is not because you are dramatic. That is not because you're weak. That is not because you need to just calm down. That is your nervous system shifting into survival mode. And in this lesson, we are going to talk about how to recognize dysregulation before it hijacks your whole day. Because here's the truth, you cannot regulate what you do not recognize. And once you learn how your body signals stress, overwhelm, shutdown, or reactivity, you stop blaming yourself and start understanding yourself. That is where healing begins. Dysregulation happens when your nervous system gets stuck in survival response even after the threat has passed, or when your body reacts to everyday stress as if it is a major danger. In simple terms, your body is acting like the alarm system is still going off, even though there may not be an active emergency. Think of it like your phone battery being at 3%. When your phone is fully charged, it works beautifully. Apps open quickly, the screen is bright, everything functions smoothly. But when it's almost dead, it starts glitching. It slows down, it dims the screen, it starts shutting down anything unnecessary so it can preserve power. Your nervous system does the same thing. When you are regulated, you have access to patience, perspective, creativity, empathy, decision making, and emotional control. But when you are dysregulated, your system starts prioritizing survival. That means your body may prepare to fight, run, freeze, shut down, or people please. Not because you are choosing that consciously, but because your body is trying to protect you. And baby, the body is loyal, sometimes too loyal, like a security guard who still thinks the party crusher from 1998 is outside the door. So, one of the most important things to understand is this: your body often knows you are stressed before your mind does. You may not consciously think, I feel unsafe right now, but your body may already be saying it. You may notice your jaw gets tight, your shoulders creep upward, your breathing becomes shallow, your chest feels tense, your stomach feels upset, or your hands get cold, your heart starts racing, your body starts preparing for action before your logical brain has even caught up. This is your autonomic nervous system shifting gears. When your sympathetic nervous system activates, your body is preparing for fight or flight. That is the gas pedal. It increases energy, it increases alertness, it prepares your muscles to move. That is helpful if you actually need to escape danger. But if you are sitting at your desk, reading an email, or having a conversation with your partner, that survival energy can become overwhelming. Instead of calmly responding, you may snap. Instead of thinking clearly, you may spiral. Instead of handling the situation, you may feel like the situation is handling you. Dysregulation can look different depending on which survival state your nervous system moves into. For instance, if you're in fight response, your fight energy may look like or feel like irritation, anger, defensiveness, or the urge to control. You may notice yourself thinking, why are they talking to me like that? I need to prove my point. I am not letting this happen. Your body may feel hot, tense, sharp, or activated. This is the part of you that says, I need to protect myself by pushing back. Or if you're in flight response, flight energy may feel like anxiety, urgency, restlessness, or the need to escape. You may suddenly want to leave the room, quit the project, cancel the plan, or run away from the conversation. Your thoughts may race, your breathing may speed up, you may feel like you need to do something immediately. This is the part of you that says, I need to get out of here. If you're in the freeze response, freeze can feel like being stuck. You may know what you need to do, but you cannot make yourself do it. You may stare at your computer screen, reread the same sentence 10 times, or feel like your brain has been buffering Wi Fi. You're not lazy. Your system may be overwhelmed. Freeze says, I do not know what to do, so I'm going to pause everything. or if you're in shutdown response. Shutdown is deeper than freeze. This can feel like numbness, heaviness, exhaustion, emotional flatness, or disconnection. You may feel like your body is moving through mud. Your voice may become monotone. You may not feel sad, angry, or anxious. You may feel nothing. This is not you being cold or careless. This is your nervous system conserving energy because it has reached overload. Dysregulation does not only affect your body, it also affects your mind. When your nervous system is stressed, the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for planning, logic, decision making, and emotional regulation, becomes less available. This is why simple things can suddenly feel impossible. You may notice brain fog, indecision, difficulty focusing, catastrophic thinking, repeating the same worry over and over, feeling overwhelmed by simple tasks, reading a text message and instantly assuming the worst. This is why when you are dysregulated, a grocery list can feel like a dissertation. You are not lacking intelligence. Your brain is redirecting energy towards survival. It is scanning for threat instead of helping you calmly organize your life. This is also when your inner voice may become harsh. You may start thinking, what is wrong with me? I always mess things up. Nobody cares. I cannot handle this. This is never going to get better. But here's the key. Those thoughts may feel true, but they are not always truth. They may be stress signals. They may be thoughts produced by a dysregulated nervous system. And when you can say, this is my nervous system talking, you create a little bit of space. And that space is powerful. That space is where choice begins. Emotionally, dysregulation can show up in two major ways: too much emotion or not enough access to emotion. In sympathetic activation, you may feel emotionally flooded. You may feel angry, panicked, irritated, overwhelmed, or on edge, like you are about to cry or explode or do both. Your emotional volume gets turned all the way up. A small comment feels like rejection. A delay feels like disrespect. A change of plans feels like abandonment. A simple mistake feels like proof that everything is falling apart. But in shutdown, the emotional volume gets turned way down. You may feel numb, detached, disconnected, unmotivated, emotionally flat, like you were watching life happen from behind glass. This is still dysregulation. It is just a different flavor. One is the nervous system saying too much too fast. The other is the nervous system saying, I cannot process anymore. Neither one means you're broken. They mean your system needs support. Now let's talk about how dysregulation shows up in behavior, because this is where most people judge themselves. They say, why did I snap? Why did I avoid that? Why did I say yes when I wanted to say no? Why did I scroll for 3 hours? Why did I shut everyone out? But these behaviors are often attempts to regulate. They may not be healthy long term, but they are your nervous system trying to find relief. Common patterns include hypervigilance. And this is when you are constantly scanning. You may overanalyze someone's tone, facial expression, text message, or silence. You are not just communicating, you are threat detecting. Or avoidance. This may look like procrastination, canceling plans, ignoring messages, or putting off important tasks. Sometimes avoidance is not laziness. Sometimes it is your body saying this feels like too much input. Or people pleasing. This is also called fawning. You automatically agree, apologize, over explain, or suppress your needs to avoid conflict. Your nervous system may have learned, if I keep everyone else happy, I will be safe. Or impulsivity. This can look like shopping, overeating, scrolling, texting someone you know you should not text, or grabbing for anything that gives quick relief. Your body is looking for a fast way to change the internal state. Or it can show up as emotional outburst. This happens when your system is already at capacity. The small thing was not really the whole problem. It was just the last drop in an already full cup. That is why someone leaving a dish in the sink can suddenly feel like betrayal, disrespect, and the fall of civilization. The dish was not the issue. The overloaded nervous system was. A very popular word these days is "you triggered me," or a phrase, I should say. So, what is a trigger? A trigger is something your nervous system associates with a past lack of safety. It can be a sound, it can be a smell, a facial expression, a tone of voice, a certain kind of silence, a specific phrase, a crowded room, a deadline, a person's body language. A trigger does not have to make sense to your logical mind. That is because triggers are not always stored as clear stories. Sometimes they are stored as body memories, emotional impressions, sensory cues, and survival associations. Your mind may say, "Why am I reacting like this?" But your body may be saying, "This reminds me of something." And when your body thinks the past is happening again, it reacts as if the present moment is dangerous. This is why two people can experience the same situation completely differently. One person hears a loud noise and thinks that was annoying. Another person hears the same noise and their whole body goes into panic. The difference is not weakness, the difference is history. Overwhelm happens when your stress load exceeds your capacity. This is important because most people think they lost it over nothing, but usually it was not nothing. It was accumulation. It was poor sleep, too much caffeine, not enough food. We've all been hangry, too many demands, unprocessed emotions, financial stress, relationship tension, physical pain, work pressure, sensory overload. And then one small thing happens: traffic, a text, a spilled drink, a child asking one more question, and suddenly, boom, you are dysregulated. That is the last straw effect. It was not the traffic, it was everything your body was already carrying before the traffic. This is why self awareness matters. Because when you can identify your stress load earlier, you can intervene before your system hits capacity. Now we move into observation. This is where the work becomes personal. Everyone has their own nervous system pattern. Some people go into anxiety and overfunctioning. Some people shut down and disappear. Some people get controlling. Some people get quiet. Some people please. And some people become productive on the outside but panicked on the inside. The goal is not to judge your pattern. The goal is to learn your pattern. I want you to begin asking, what are my early warning signs? Do I clench my jaw? Do I hold my breath? Do I get irritated? Do I start rushing? Do I get quiet? Do I feel heavy? Do I start overthinking? Do I want to escape? Or do I want to fix everything immediately? These early signs are gold. They are your nervous system whispering before it starts screaming. And we want to catch the whisper because once your nervous system is screaming, regulation becomes so much harder. Not impossible, just harder. So, for the next 24 hours, I want you to become a compassionate researcher of your own nervous system. Not a critic, not a judge, not a drill sergeant, a researcher. Your job is not to fix everything immediately. Your job is to notice. Notice when you feel a shift in mood, energy, body tension, or thoughts. And then you're going to pause and ask, what is happening in my body right now? Is my jaw tight? Are my shoulders raised? Is my breathing shallow? Is my stomach tense? Is my heart racing? Do I feel heavy or do I feel numb? Then ask, what is the tone of my thoughts? Are they anxious, critical, angry, hopeless, catastrophic, defensive? And then you're going to ask, what happened right before this shift? Was it a message, a sound, a task, a memory, a person, a feeling, a physical sensation? And then we're going to ask, am I inside my window of tolerance or have I moved into survival mode? This practice helps you build nervous system literacy. And nervous system literacy is self leadership, because once you can name what is happening, you can work with it. This is one of the biggest shifts in healing. Learn to check your state before believing your story. The story says, they do not care about me. I am failing. I have to fix this right now. This is dangerous. I cannot handle this. But the state may say, my heart rate is elevated, my breathing is shallow, my body feels threatened, my brain is overwhelmed, my nervous system needs regulation before I respond. This matters because when you are dysregulated, your interpretation of reality may be filtered through survival. That does not mean your feelings are invalid. It means your nervous system may need support before you make big decisions or have a big conversation, send a text, quit the job, or declare war over a slightly suspicious period at the end of a sentence. State first, story second, regulate first, respond second. That is how you begin moving from reaction to intentional action. This is where the real strategy begins. Before you can embody a new way of being, before you can align your actions, before you can lead yourself and others, you must first learn to regulate. And regulation starts with recognition, recognizing when your body is in fight, recognizing when your thoughts are spiraling, recognizing when you are shutting down, recognizing when your yes is actually a fear response, recognizing when your anchor is really protection, recognizing when your avoidance is really overwhelm, and recognizing when your nervous system is asking for safety, not shame. This is not about making yourself perfect. This is about becoming present enough to notice what is happening inside of you. Because every time you notice, you create a gap. And in that gap, you get to choose something different. And that is power, that is healing, and that is leadership. So today, I want you to take this with you. Your reactions are not random. Your body is not betraying you. Your nervous system is not broken. It is communicating. And when you learn how to listen, you stop fighting yourself and start leading yourself. Dysregulation is not a character flaw. It is a state. And states can shift. With awareness, compassion, and the right tools, you can move from survival to stability, from reaction to response, from overwhelm to self-trust, from what is wrong with me to what is my body trying to tell me. That question changes everything, because the moment you stop judging your nervous system and start understanding it, you begin coming home to yourself. So, because the brain learns through repetition, we are going to have a practice assignment for the next 24 hours. I want you to track 3 moments when your body, your mood, your energy, or your thoughts shift. And write down what happened right before the shift. What did you feel in your body? What thoughts showed up? What survival response do you think appeared? Fight, flight, freeze, shutdown, or fawn? And what did your nervous system need in that moment? Do not worry about fixing it perfectly. Just notice. Awareness is the first regulation tool.